Nice.
How's it going, Kendra?
It's going. Not too bad, not too great, not too anything, just going.
Yeah. Can I share with you what I remembered from the last time we were together?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long week, so I forget.
I know. I hope we can get into this today. But the last thing I remember you telling me was that you're spending a lot of time with people who don't add any value to your life.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I'm realizing that like even more this week. So like long story short, this week I spent a couple days with my ex-boyfriend, who I think I've talked about him a little in the past, is just not necessarily the greatest influence. Not that I think substance use weighs on who you are as a person, but he is an alcoholic, has no desire to change that, spends all his money that way, is pretty ambivalent towards any kind of change or forward growth, and I think that that's definitely something that I can see myself kind of falling into when I spend more time with him. What else is he like? He's pretty selfish. He's I'm gonna list all the bad things, and then you're gonna like clearly ask me why I still spend time with him.
I want
to. Like he's a pretty selfish guy. He does what he wants when he wants to. He kind of doesn't. You know, if I were to ask him, hey, do you want to do a thing with me? No. But like if he were to ask me, hey, do you want to do a thing with me? With anybody would say yes. But the fact that he's just such a negative influence, and I can definitely see myself like picking up more of these negative traits the more time I spend with him, is something that I'm just really kind of stressed out about and worried about. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about over the past week. Like I said, I spent the weekend with him. We kind of do this thing where we date for a while and things go great, and then they just at the drop of a hat don't go so great anymore, and we break up because he has all these things that I've mentioned to you. And then a few months or weeks or days or hours or whatever later, we kind of fall back into this thing where we're like seeing each other all the time, and we're not together because he's very clear on that, but I don't know, it's just like the more time I spend with him, the less I care about school and my internship and all these other things that I'm trying to get done, and I can see myself dropping like my motivation, and all the good things that I see about myself just kind of disappear, and I kind of turn into somebody that I don't necessarily like the more time I spend with him. So it's this weird like thing where I want to see him, I want to spend time with him, he's important to me, but also like I want to be me when I do that. I don't want to lose parts of who I am.
So being with a person who is this negative, who is this selfish, is taking you away from who you actually are and your values.
Yeah. So he's like selfish is the perfect word. I mean, I can't even come up with synonyms for it. And I'm very much the opposite. Like if I form any kind of bond with somebody, and kind of know them at all, even if I don't necessarily like them, I'm very quick to be there for them if the time comes when they need me.
Got it.
I respect everybody. Like I said, if I spend any considerable amount of time with you and you are to call me at 3 a.m, even if I'm not your biggest fan, I'm very quick to answer the phone and kind of rush to action. And he is definitely somebody that I do that for, and I think knows that, and so he kind of takes advantage of it, and I don't know why I keep letting it happen.
So because you've allowed for him to use your kindness and to use your generosity, you've allowed him to do that so many times that now it's starting to feel like he might be taking advantage of it.
Yeah. I think because I keep going back, he knows that he can kind of run me through the ringer. And it doesn't matter what he says or does, because he knows, if he calls, I'm going to answer, because that's just who I am as a person. And so, I'll answer, and he'll ask me to, come see him. And now that we live like a mile away from each other, which is the worst news, he definitely kind of exploits that. Like last night at 10 o'clock, he was like, asking me about advice and kind of hinting that I should come over, and I didn't go for it then, but the impulse was definitely there. It was just like, it was silly to like be texting this person or calling this person and like know that if you were to directly ask me, come over, like I would have. Even though I could kind of laugh, and be like, he's not a good person, and I don't like who I am with him, who I am when I'm with him all the time. And I don't know, it's just like, watching this happen. It's almost like I'm doing it, but I'm also watching it happen, and that's really frustrating to like watch me make bad decisions and spend time on this person who's so negative, and that like brings the negative out of me or just puts it on me if I, whatever. So yeah, but you're right. I didn't do it. I didn't bite there, but I think if it were a weekend day, because I have a little bit less stress going on during the weekends, I would have. I know I would have.
The outcome would be different.
Yeah.
So you're reporting that this person has a negative influence on your life, and you're reporting that there's frustration because you know that, but you keep allowing for it to happen.
Yeah. I moved here about 1.5 years ago, and he was somebody that I met maybe 6 months after I moved here or so, and from day one it was just like this connection that I haven't really known with anybody else. And so I think even if he does run me through the ringer, like I just remember how it felt to meet him for the first time and to get to know him, and we made ourselves very vulnerable in front of each other, and so it feels like there would be kind of this waste, but it also is like he's not a good person. I procrastinate when I'm with him. I lose my motivation to like continue education or to show up to work on time, or whatever the situation might be. It's just like, why do I keep doing that? So I don't know, I'm like trying to figure that out, and it's really frustrating and sad. It's like a bummer that I let myself be treated this way when I can verbalize to you that like I know better, but I can't.
What do you think would have to happen for this relationship to be the last straw? Like you're not going back this time. What's like the worst case scenario? What is the worst thing that would have happened?
Question.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bad things have happened at the end of the, we'll spend a couple months or weeks or whatever it is together, and then something bad will happen. He'll treat me like extremely poorly, and I'll walk away, and I like tell myself every time it's, the last time I'm ever going to walk away, because I'll never walk back. Like, for example, I totaled a car and he like couldn't be there for me. He didn't show up to be there for me when I was scared and hurt and alone. And then the next time, he just said some really shitty things and behaved really poorly, and then the time after that it was the same thing. And so every time it's like he keeps doing this, and there's this pattern, and I don't know. And I think that's the scary part, is that I don't know what somebody like this, who doesn't have my best interest in mind, but that I keep falling into, or falling back into these stupid habits, I don't know what he would have to do. And that's, like I said, really scary. How far will I let him push me?
Right.
How far will I let these bad things that come out when we are together, how much will I let them grow and take over?
It seems like it's limitless, that he can do just about anything, and you'd still want to be there.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about your experience being scared and alone and not having the support of someone you care about by your side? What does it feel like to not have that support?
I think in his case, like, yeah, that's another good question. I think I've just started to kind of, I've just started to kind of understand what it's like to lean on people. And like I said, we fell into this really deep connection when we first met, and I did lean on him, and for a while he was there, and it felt really, really nice to know that somebody I cared so strongly about, and who verbalized and showed for at least a little bit that he cared about me back in that same way. It felt nice to know that if I had a shitty day, I could call him up, and like he would do whatever it was that I needed or wanted, or maybe didn't even want or need, but he would just figure out a way to just kind of be that for me. And so it feels now that I've had a taste of what it's like to lean on somebody and to feel comfortable doing that. It sucks to not have that anymore, and I think that's why I keep trying to find it again, especially with him, is because that's the one place that I feel like I've had it before.
So because he's been like that before, who's to say he can't be like that again?
Yeah, there's very much like kind of remembering the old times and hoping that they'll come back, even though, like I said, I can verbalize all this crap to you, that like he's kind of shown his true colors, and he's shown that time and time again he won't be there. He was there once, but he wasn't there on 99 times. And so, it's weird. And it's like, it feels dumb to hold on to that one time and think that that'll ever happen again when just the odds aren't in my favor.
So the times that he has been there for you are considerably less than the times that he has not been there for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which hurts, number one, to just even, like, know that. But it hurts to know that, like, that doesn't matter. Like, I still keep answering the phone. I still keep seeing him and talking to him and spending time with him. And I don't know. It's just, like, there's all these reasons to leave, and I just can't figure out why I don't.
There's all these reasons to leave, and you can't figure out why you won't just do that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. So how I try to, like, do it for myself is to, like, think of the positives, and not even, like, what was positive in the past, but, like, what's positive now.
Can you identify anything that's positive right now?
Yeah, when we get together, we have a really, we're laughing the whole time. It feels like I am more genuine now that we've kind of severed ties. We're not officially together anymore. So, like, because there's not a label there, it feels like I have nothing to lose, which is like really strange. So I feel like I can be kind of even more myself. Like, I can make a joke at his expense, or I can kind of pick on him a little more than I would have. We laugh the whole time. It genuinely seems like he wants updates on my life. He remembers little things about me that I didn't think he would, because every time we're together he's drunk. But it's always surprising when he does remember little things or shows interest in things, that I briefly touch on in conversation and then kind of move away from. He does really good about, like, pausing and wanting to hear more and stuff like that. And so he has good qualities, but, like, by and large, I just, like, he's not a good person to be around because, like I said, he has this degree from this Ivy League school, and he, is in tech support. He works, like, an entry-level minimum wage job. He lives with his mom, and I very much feel like when I'm with him, I excuse that stuff. He's 28 years old. He's an adult, and, like, circumstantial situations and stuff, like, that stuff isn't, make or break, but, like, he has no motivation to better his scenario because I don't know why. Probably partially because of the alcohol and whatever, but I think it's, as somebody who is so motivated to better my situation always and to, like, do that for those around me, it's really, really frustrating to leave when I hang out with him and watch, like, I just wasted a whole weekend when I could have been doing homework or doing this or that or the other thing, and to kind of not understand why I keep making this choice.
So to see someone who you perceive to be unmotivated, not driven, relying on his mom for things, most likely, being 28 years old without really a career sort of path.
Career, like, life path.
Life path versus you who does have those things. And to feel like those things are put on hold or not as important to you when you're with him.
And it's like I compromise this part of, like, this really, really big part of who I am. Like, I'm just okay with the fact that, like, I don't know, like, when I'm with him, I'm okay with the fact that I'm at a bar or doing whatever, instead of working on homework or working on all these applications that I'm doing or doing things that I enjoy that, maybe aren't necessarily as beneficial, but are still more aligned with who I am and what I want to do and be and, what I find enjoyable.
Right.
So, I don't know, it's just, like, this really frustrating thing where I can't figure out why I keep saying yes when everything that we talked about just now, like, has me screaming no.
Right.
So, I don't know, I feel foolish, I feel, like, conflicted, I feel like a million different things, and that's just exhausting.
I'm glad you've putting this all out on the table. We're at time.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to commend you for talking about this, because it would have been really easy to tell me all the good things about him and leave out all the bad stuff.
Yeah. which I find myself doing sometimes, like making excuses and hyping him up in ways that maybe aren't necessarily true. So
well, it sounds like you probably have a more realistic handle on this than you might think, and that it's okay to have conflicting feelings about it, because I'm not asking you to make any decisions on it. Do you want to talk about this next time?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to. I'm sure I'll make stupid decisions over the weekend and need to do it again. So
sounds good, Kendra.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for meeting with me this week.
Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. See you next week.
See ya.